Great. So I have the pleasure of bringing up Mayor Sorace. And let me just give you a little bit of information about her. Mayor Sorace was elected to serve as Lancaster's 43rd mayor in 2018. She is the second woman to hold this post. Previously, the mayor served on city council, chairing the finance committee, and was executive director for an environmental organization actively partnering with the city to launch its first green infrastructure plan. So I'm very excited to hear from Mayor Sorace. Please join us.
All of you, and my name is Danene Sorace, and I am, don't worry, it happens all the time.
This is all day with me, though.
No,
all day with the name, so that wasn't my fault.
it's okay. I say the way to remember how to say my last name, you have two choices. If you like hot sauce, it's Sriracha, Sorace. If you like fashion, it's Versace, Sorace. So one of those two things usually hits the mark. But I am really excited to be with you today, and welcome to Lancaster. We're really so glad that you came to our city to have this convening, this summit. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the efforts that we are engaged in. But first, by a show of hands, how many of you did the tour yesterday? Oh, lots of you. That's wonderful. Okay, really great. I'm really glad that you had a chance to walk our streets. So a litter-free Lancaster is not some far-off fantasy to me. It's actually a strategic priority. And I want to tell you about how that strategic priority blends in with some of the other efforts that we are engaged in. You see, the city's vision is to create a stronger, more equitable Lancaster block by block. And one of the strategic priorities that's part of that is safe neighborhoods, or strong neighborhoods. And how do we have strong neighborhoods? We make sure that they're safe and that they're clean. And that is one of the entry points into having a conversation about litter. So we know that litter on our streets is largely a problem of our own making. Litter is a choice, and we have an opportunity to create a healthy, more beautiful community. That's a choice too. And we all know it's easier said than done, right? Or we wouldn't be having to have a summit because this problem would be solved. But unfortunately, we know that this takes effort. And I just want to highlight some of the efforts that are happening here in the city of Lancaster. And we know that this is a partnership. It is not just city government that is leading the charge as it relates to litter in our community. One person that I want to introduce you to today is Sir Dominique Jordan, or Dom. During some of the most challenging moments of the pandemic, Dom started something called Block Right. And this program was started through his organization called True to You. Block Right is really a mentorship program that connects local creatives and educators with students and kids all through the neighborhood cleanups and some artistry. The block right, as in let's get this block right, that program, their real goal is to empower young people. Cleaning up litter just happens to be a tool that they use. So when the pandemic hit, Dom was actually working in our school district as an educator, and he saw how hard it was for our kiddos to connect on Zoom, and it was really, really difficult to find ways that he could bring kids together to connect, but he found that doing these block cleanups were a way to safely be outside, socially distance, yada, yada, and be able to do something good for the community. So then summer of 2020 hit, and Lancaster experienced, like many other communities across the state, some really difficult moments in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. And Dom also recognized that many of the students that he had been working with were angry, they were isolated, and they did not have a clear positive direction. And that's how Block Right kept evolving. It allowed young people to connect with young adult role models and their teachers who mainly live outside the city, not in the classroom, but in the students' own neighborhoods. It gave our young people a clear and direct way to improve their community and a way for them to have a sense of pride about the city and to think about their communities in different ways. So that program continues, and it has evolved. They have now done over 300 neighborhood cleanups since starting 2 years ago and have engaged hundreds of kids. The goal of getting young people out and doing some good is paying huge dividends in our communities in lots of different ways. And now the city of Lancaster is a proud supporter of the Black Right program and Dom's work. And he's also elevated this to include spoken word and using art in a way to create and inspire young people, not just by doing block cleanups, but by also giving them an outlet through spoken word. So Block Right now has merged with 2 city efforts, our PACE program that's led by Josh Baltieri, who is running our public art community engagement initiative, and also our River Connections project. And that project aims to strengthen residents' connections to the Conestoga River. And both of those efforts are underway right now. We know that litter on our streets ends up in our streams, and the city's River Connections projects is mixing that storytelling and spoken word performances about the river, as well as storm drain mural installations, as well as this Block Right neighborhood cleanups, and it's all coming together in a way that we could never really have imagined. These connection points and young people elevating both the quality of life in our neighborhoods as well as the environmental quality of our streams. The 4th River Connections cleanup is actually happening this Saturday morning in our southeast neighborhood, and our local artist, Terry and Mac, will install our 3rd storm drain mural. And the goal of these murals, of course, is to raise awareness about how trash in our drains ends up in our rivers. So this is amazing work, and I am really excited that the 3 people that are core to these efforts have just walked in the room. Won't you join me in giving Dom, Josh, and Tyrion a round of applause? So I've got a few more words to say, but then if you indulge me, if I may, I'm going to invite these 3 young men to join me up here on the podium, and we can have just a little bit of conversation. So I'm going to take maybe 5 more minutes to just talk about a few other things the city is doing, but I really want to make space for what these young men are doing and the leadership that they are providing in our community and give you a chance to hear from them directly. Cool? Okay. All right, so I just want to talk, you've seen the tiny cans. If you went for a walk, you met Jack, you visited Pershing Avenue. This was just another one of those things where we saw neighbors like putting bags out on their banisters and collecting trash. How can we elevate these efforts so that we have trash cans that are literally a step away from the corner store as you're walking down the middle of the block? You don't even have to wait to get to the end of the block to find a trash can. There's one literally right there. You also probably saw our Lancaster Compost Co-op that now has 5 compost bins in city parks across the city. This is another project that's been funded by Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful. We are so grateful for their support. You probably also heard that it's diverting 16,600 pounds of food waste each month, and we are just getting started. And that is very, very important because why? It's saving the city money. We spend money every time a trash truck goes. You do it too. They're called tipping fees. They're in every municipal budget, and they add up fast. And so our ability to save money is in equal measure to what it's costing us. So we are anticipating a net cost savings of about, if everybody participated, which I know we're not there yet, we could be saving about $1.7 million a year in tipping fees by amping up our composting efforts. We know on the other side of the ledger that we're spending about $2.1 million addressing litter every year. And we know this because, again, with our partnership with KPB with a cost of litter and illegal dumping study that we did a few years ago. That was a really important benchmark because naming how much that costs taxpayers lets people think about litter in a different way. So in addition to these community-driven measures, we have the tiny cans, we have the river connections, we have the Block Right project, we have artistry that's being incorporated in all of that, as well as our composters that are just like a little, like they're an army of people who are learning about composting, bringing their food waste to parks, and then benefiting from the soil that they are then taking back to their gardens and growing more. And it's beautiful how all of this is coming together. We also know that as a city, we have a responsibility in addition to these really community-driven tools, and that's through our street sweeping program. And, you know, I learned that the city of Lancaster has been more consistently providing street sweeping services than other communities that are right in South Central Pennsylvania, and that shocked me. But it's not shocking when you visit our streets and you compare our streets and the cleanliness of our streets with other communities. We know that we are picking up 350 tons of trash on our streets every single year. We also know that this is a huge burden to our residents who have to move their cars. And so we continue to have this like push and pull around street sweeping and ticketing. And we have to continue to do it because we are seeing the results of these efforts in the amount of trash we are picking up. We also know that our downtown investment district remains a critical partner for us, cleaning up a lot of litter downtown, picking up 42 tons of trash just in our downtown area. And we know that our green infrastructure work, while it's also slowing water and helping to reduce overflows into the Conestoga River, we also know that it's also collecting trash. Not the initial intention of a rain garden, friends, but we also are seeing how much rain gardens are collecting debris off of our streets that would otherwise be going into storm drains, because obviously if they're going in the rain garden, they're not being caught up with our street sweeping. So we have a lot of work to do as we continue to build out our rain gardens and continue to do street sweeping and continue to elevate this as an issue for our entire community. So I want to just say how proud I am of the work of our residents and the people on our team that are so committed to the success of the city and helping us to create a healthier, more beautiful community. We're certainly dreaming up a lot more for our city, and we are really excited about some of the new ideas that are emerging from the young people that are engaged in these efforts. These are not your typical, I don't know how many kids that come out and do a cleanup have really ever thought about where does the litter go, but we are elevating and creating the next generation of people who are working to keep Pennsylvania beautiful. And I thank you for the opportunity to be here. And now I would like to invite these three wonderful young men to join me on the stage. And I'll give them each a quick, very quick introduction, and they can say more. Come on, Josh. There's perfectly 3 chairs here for you all, which is great. Okay, and you can sit or stand, it's fine. So this is Sir Dominique Jordan. He has launched True to You and the Block Right program, was an educator with the School District of Lancaster. When you see him out in the community, it's like a magnet. He knows so many young people. He is an artist himself. His spoken word is incredible. And he is truly an asset to the city of Lancaster, and we are very grateful for Dom. Tyrion, I'm just getting to know, but everywhere Dom is, Tyrion is as well. And we had our first in-depth conversation, I would say, 2 Saturdays ago at Musser Park. It was a beautiful day. It was right after a River Connections project, and we were talking about just the amount of young people that are engaged in the project, and I got to learn a little bit about Tyrion, but I'm going to let him speak for himself. But let me just say, this trio of young men are making a mark for themselves in the community in a lot of different ways, and I'm giving them short shrift by only talking about what I know and see, so they'll have more of a chance. And then Josh is new to our team, and he is the director of our PACE program, which we are about to, I think we're going to be relaunching it a little bit, and I'm very excited about what Josh is bringing to our team as a newer member of the Lancaster City staff. And Josh can talk a little bit about PACE and the connections between all of these facets. So I know that I've given you a lot between Block Right, the River Connections, spoken word, the mural projects, the tiny cans, all of this. But this is the beautiful way that we are knitting together our neighborhoods and many, many different communities in this effort of keeping Lancaster beautiful. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sir Dominique Jordan.
Thank you so much. Hey everybody, I was definitely not planning on coming up here. But I just want to say thank you to our mayor. You keep me motivated and inspired every time I see you. I feel like I don't feel like I'm looking at my mayor. I feel like I'm looking at a neighbor, and I think that's important when you live in a city that cares about its residents, cares about the youth, and that's what I'm big on. I got 2 sons at home, a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, soon to be 2, and honestly, I didn't really listen to my parents too much growing up. I was a knucklehead, but I know that I listened to older kids. I listened to mentors outside of the home more than I really listened in the home, which was, I would learn the hard way. But my sons also don't listen to me. Let's just be transparent. When I was 5 years old, I had to, make sure that I was pretending to be asleep until the adults woke up. Like, my son's up and ready to go. Let's get it. And with that being said, he joins us for our block rights, pretty often. And it's crazy to think, like, I created the program while I was a middle school educator, trying to engage kids during the pandemic, during these protests, just getting them doing something different, showing the power of being with people, feeling safe, feeling responsible, and I never thought my son would be a part of it. And it's just amazing to see, him meet people and be excited about doing it, and I also get to bring my friends with me, so I'm not going to talk too much up here, but yeah, I'm Sir Dominique Jordan, and I appreciate y'all. T, you want to come up and talk to me?
Come on up.
Hold on, I got it. All right, we good. Yeah, so I'm Tyrion Mack, born and raised here. I'm a local artist, father, entrepreneur. Actually been self-employed. Thanks to aligning with the right people to help me do that. But self-employed for over a year now. Doing art with the kids, with my friends, music, community events, doing anything to engage the youth and spark their mind to, have a brighter path and notice how bright their future can be. Sorry, I didn't realize that I wasn't really talking into it. But yeah, so no, it's just an honor to be up here and to be involved with these projects, especially the Rivers Connection project, which is what was being highlighted and Block Right, cleaning up and everything. So yeah.
You got mural this weekend?
I do, yeah. So like they mentioned, I'm doing a mural at 402 South Ann. So if you know where Han Elementary is, across from there, there's a corner store. I'm gonna be right there painting. I did one already at Brightside, if you know where that's at. Yeah, so I don't know. I would love to connect, meet y'all. Thank you. It's an honor to be here and be talked about so highly.
What's going on, guys? My name is Joshua Florian Beltre, Dominican background, originally from New York City, the Bronx, and I moved to Lancaster about 6 years ago. This place has changed my life. It's the first time I've seen community engagement at a high. Like, I've never been a part of a community, and this is the first time I feel so drawn together to it, and I care about what happens in my neighborhood and at the schools, and that's what led me to working for the mayor's department now, for the Department of Neighborhood Engagement. And what I got hired for was to take over PACE, which is a residency of a cohort of 5 artists that have a voice, have an opinion in their community, in their neighborhoods, and they wish to bring life to it by mural installations or just a garden, growing a garden in your neighborhood and getting folks from the neighborhood to come and interact and have kids involved, have all walks of life involved. And now, as we progress, with these artists, they get a whole year to like show and showcase their work. And we do art workshops and city government workshops with these artists, showing them how to, showing them really the importance of city government and how city government and neighborhood communities can work together by using art. And then also giving them the opportunity to showcase their work, engage with the community, and just like foster them and help them with setting up a proper business and an invoice and all that good stuff. So just really uplifting people that don't get heard often, bringing them to us and showcasing them to the whole world, you know, in a sense. So yeah, that's what I do. Aside from that, I'm a photographer, videographer, and I just like capturing stuff, climbing buildings, and you know, doing that stuff. But yeah, I'm really grateful to be here. I didn't know I was gonna speak, so thank you, man, for the assist. But it was an honor, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for indulging me in that. But before these gentlemen step off the stage, does anybody have any questions for them? We have like 5 minutes, I think. Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you share an Instagram account for all the artwork you're doing in the city?
Instagram account.
Show them True to You.
Yep.
You want to get true to you?
Yeah, true to you or use larger than life.
True to You, True to You.
Yeah.
So what's true to you? You can tell them true to
oh,
you's
yeah.
at, and then I'll do mine.
So most of our information is probably on our creative mentorship page. Instagram is TRU2YOU. We also have a page on Facebook as well. So.
And then for my personal, I do songwriting, and like a lot of the music that I do is for the kids. So I do a lot of community events. So you can find the music there as well as the art. It's at Tyrian, which is TERIAN _Mac MACK. Thank you.
And some of that children's music highlights multiplication tables. Yeah. Yeah. It's legit. Other questions? That was a really great question. Thank you for that. Any other questions? I don't think that you were all prepared for us to have this conversation about art and litter, but this is what we do in Lancaster. We're weaving it all together, and again, just bringing it back to the vision of creating a stronger, more equitable city block by block. Thank you for having us.